Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to A.O.S Group. Here we'll talk about everything related to language studies. If you are currently working on your relocation abroad, we also assist you to perfect your English language, learn the French language, the Spanish, the German, and the rest. Likewise, we can actually prepare you for internationally recognized examinations like the IELTS, like the TOEFL, the TEF Canada, the TCF Canada, and all other examinations. If you're also working on your study permit, your work permit, your permanent residency, we can also be of help to with you for you with that. Now that being said, today, as you know, it's most likely we are always scheduled to start our live Q&A sessions, and our Q&A sessions we actually altered for more than 3 weeks due to the Eid celebration and some of our preparations to actually work on immigration. However, we have started right from yesterday, and we do crave your indulgence. We actually beg, or let me say solicit your apology for actually missing many of the what they call it now, many of the episodes that we were meant to actually run. I was so happy yesterday because someone reached out to me and stated that he has actually been expecting, you understand, he has been expecting our live Q&As, that what was happening. So nothing really much was happening. The only thing is that we altered it, and now we are back and we are even much better right now. So the last time we were talking about, or we were taking the questions that were asked during our JAPA to Canada in 2023 webinar Q&As. But right from yesterday, we have actually started a new set of series which is centered on our relocation, or centered on the immigration package, which we term the M.M.M package. And what is the M.M.M, or what does it mean literally? It stands for the Make Money and Migrate to Canada in 2023 webinar Q&A. For those who actually know about the webinar, or who even attended the webinar, that was around February, we actually talked extensively on how someone can actually, first of all, earn some decent amount of money, and now use that money to relocate or to process his or her own immigration to Canada. And various questions were asked by a lot of attendees. So today and on, we are going to be responding to some of the questions we got during that webinar Q&A. So without wasting much time, the question 170 actually asks that how long does it take to process a work permit visa from an African country, or from an African relocating to Canada? And the question was asked by Eric Ibu from Nigeria. And as you know, it's just like we said it, these questions are now extracted from our M.M.M to Canada in 2023 webinar Q&A session. Now, this question may actually sound kind of strange to some people, but for some of us who have been in the relocation business for some time, we know that a lot of people, especially those that have actually started their processing of the work permits, would most likely ask this, especially again when their visa applications have been halted. I had a scenario of one of my friends who reached out to me after we actually met at the visa application center in Lagos. I think that was last year. And he was talking about he actually applying through a travel agent for the work permit. Though I think later on he got to realize that maybe it was either the work permit or the tourist visa that was applied for in place of the work permit. But notwithstanding, he said he applied at that time for the work permit, and he got a job, and you understand, they actually started to work on his permit. But that actually lasted, it lasted for more than, like, up to now. I think we met around March of last year, the year 2022, and this is April 2023, and he hasn't gotten any feedback, you understand, apart from the biometrics he went to do. I think he did medicals. Yes, he went for medical. We met at oh, rather, sorry, I said visa application. So we met at the IOM, International Organization for Migration. IOM. We met there for medicals last year. You understand? And he said right from then down to now, he has not gotten any favorable feedback. All he has been hearing from his travel agent is processing. And that's just to tell you that yes, work permit, if it is even work permit, can actually take time. It can take more than a year to actually process, even after submitting your application, whether be it complete or not. So for a Nigerian particularly, it can take more time than one actually expected. Do you understand? But in order to know the exact processing time that any application from any particular African country can take, you have to check the average processing time as actually stated or stipulated by the Canadian immigration body. You understand, on their website. And the link you can use to actually check that, I'll share it with you on the chat section now. The link is a very popular link that a lot of us actually use to check the exact processing time, or let me say the average amount of processing time it can take on an average basis, based on past, you understand, based on past applications that have been worked on by the Canadian immigration body. And I will show you that on the screen now. To check the processing time, you have to go to canada.ca/en/, immigration refugee citizenship services application, check processing times. Do you understand? So to check the processing time for a particular one now, for particularly if you go on the Canadian immigration website, do you understand? You'd most likely be told to go on to their what do they call it now? Their So that being said, you'd most likely be redirected to where you are going to actually check the the processing time. So I wanted to show it here, but I was not able to work on it. So let me just check it myself. Once you go on that link, the check processing time, you have to scroll down where it says select an application type. You select temporary residence, and when you want to check which temporary residence application, you check that of work permit. And since you said an African is going to be from outside Canada, work permit from outside Canada is what you are going to select. And where your location specifically, because Nigeria is just an African country. You can check all other African countries, but because you actually hacked from Nigeria, we'll check Nigeria. Let's check the average processing time it will take. Do you understand? An average person that actually applies. So based on the past data that the Canadian immigration body has, it will take roughly 25 weeks for a work permit from outside Canada to actually get approved, or to get accessed, or to get processed, you understand, by the Canadian immigration body. And they state on their in their website that they are prioritizing applications for essential occupations. And for those who know what essential occupations are, they are occupations that are either in the agricultural sector or in the medical or the healthcare sector. So if you are not in those occupations, you may actually have to wait more than the 25 weeks. Do you understand? If you are not applying to work in a particular essential occupation, your processing time may actually be longer than what is even seen or what is shown above, and which is the 25 weeks we talked about initially. So I think maybe that my friend that I reached out to, that I saw at the medical center, maybe perhaps it was not part of the essential occupation. So as a result of that, you understand, it's processing time too, because we have 52 weeks in a year. So for his own to take more than, you understand, times two of the 25 weeks, that means, though definitely you have to note something, that they update the timings, the processing timings, on a weekly basis. So sometimes you may see 38 weeks, you may see 42 weeks. They update it from time to time. So the last update we are talking about currently is the one they updated around April 18, 2023. You understand? And the processing time would actually not include the time it takes for an applicant to send the application between the visa application center and their own office, IRCC's office, or it won't actually add up to the time you need to actually give your biometrics. You understand? Even though you may need to give your fingerprints and photos, which are biometrics with your application. So one thing they would always state is that the processing time that is seen on their website currently, it always tells how long it took them, you understand, to process most of the applications, especially that of the work permit in this scenario, in the time past. And the application may either be delayed or they may even be returned if it is not complete, which would definitely increase the time of the next processing of the person's application. Another thing you have to note is that the processing time will start the day they receive the complete application and end when they would actually make a final decision. It may vary as well depending on how many applications they actually receive from time to time. So I hope that answers the question on how long does it take to process a work permit visa for an African. And the kind of African we are focused on now is a Nigerian, because the person that asked was from Nigeria. But if it is from another person's country, let's take another African country. You understand? You understand? Just to actually work around it. Let's say Morocco, for instance. If it if the application is coming from Morocco, then it will take about 14 weeks. If you look at that, there's a difference between Nigeria, which is 25 weeks, and Morocco, which is 14 weeks. Do you understand? So that's as in within 3 to 4 months. So that's just to tell you that even in Nigeria or even in Africa, there's a difference between how long it will take each of those countries, you understand, or each of those persons to actually get approved or to get responses, feedback from their. If you look at Ghana, for instance, Ghana still in Africa, it takes 46 weeks before such work permits actually get, you understand, processed that giving a final decision. So if you look at that, Nigeria is kind of in the middle. Ghana is like at the extreme of 46 weeks, and Morocco is around 14 weeks, which is like very close by. So that's just a way you could check the processing times, the periods or the duration the work permits can actually get processed by the IRCC. And mind you, these times or these processing times do change. So thank you very much. I hope I've been able to answer that question very well. If you have any further questions, you can drop it on the live chat section or the comment section of this video. And if we don't take it now, we can always take it in our subsequent live Q&As. So if you really enjoyed this session, please kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit on the notification bar to get notified anytime I drop a content, and like and share this video with your friends and with your family. And do not forget to always join us subsequently, even tomorrow, daily by 3 p.m. West African time or 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you very much and do have a lovely day ahead. Bye for now.